If everything feels really urgent lately, if you feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, you have not enough time, but somehow have to get it all done, this episode is for you. In this short video, I'm going to help you not by giving you another thing to do, not by suggesting another protocol or habit that you need to incorporate. I'm going to help you see that what actually is the issue is a craving, needing, and deserving for some space that I promise you are going to be able to carve out in the micro moments that you actually have access to in your life. I'm Dr. Melissa Saunders, and I help burnt out and overstimulated mamas and busy women downshift and regulate their nervous system through brainwaves and other science-backed strategies that you can incorporate in the micro moments. You know, so many women, when we feel that way, right? When we feel like I can't juggle it all, there's too much going on. I think sometimes we feel like we're broken or something's wrong with us, or like, why can't we do it all? The actual problem is not us. The problem is a need and deserving of space. We need space in our lives. You think about all the tasks that we are juggling as today's women, right? So we've got work stuff, we've got kid stuff, and the kid stuff these days is very different than the kid stuff in our days. There's WhatsApp groups, there's chats, there's texts, there's emails, there's carpools. Like, it is like a Tetris, and like you need a personal assistant just for your kid's schedule. And so no wonder we are overstimulated. Our brains feel so full, like there's hundreds of tabs open at any time, and like we can't shut down. What I want to help you understand in this is that these feelings of overwhelm or like it's too much are a feature, not a flaw. These are not something to judge or shame ourselves for. They are something to lean into, because what happens is when we start to feel that sensation of like, this is too much or I can't handle this, that is an opportunity for discernment, and that is an opportunity to create clarity in our lives over what's working and what isn't. But guess what, guys? When we're just constantly bombarding ourselves with stimulation, we don't have an opportunity for space, which brings clarity, and clarity brings solutions. So I want to plant the seed for what we're going to do here today. What I want you to understand is this is not a capacity issue. This is not a bandwidth issue. This is not your energy issue. This is a nervous system issue. And so instead of trying to either distract ourselves out of these yucky feelings of this is too much, which actually overstimulates us and blocks space and blocks clarity, instead of trying to figure out what's the system other people are using and what protocol and blah, 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 again, more stimulation, more stuff, no space, no clarity, we are going to go to the root of the problem, which is the nervous system, and we are going to address that. You guys, we cannot think our way out of a nervous system problem. We need to create space for clarity and presence, and the solution will come to us. I know that sounds a little bit woo-woo, but it is based and rooted in neuroscience. So last thing I'll say on that, in the past, in these situations, I don't know about you, but I would be like, all right, I'm just going to think my way through this. I'm going to force my way through. I'm going to push through. I'm going to get it done. I'm tired. I'm getting all these signals that it's not working, but I'm just going to like power over, right? I'm just going to power over and push through and get beyond my ego. Get beyond that inner narrator, that inner voice that's like ticked off, right? When we do that, we further engage stress mode, we further engage fight or flight mode, and clarity literally cannot find us in that state of survival. So most women actually do not need more time. Most women actually do not need different routines or more discipline. Most women actually need micro moments and tools that work in the micro moments that they have access to in this busy season of life. And that's what we're gonna do in this short video, okay? One of my favorite things about these tools is that they don't take a lot of time. So self-care needs a rebrand. So often I think what we think of when we're like, I need a break, I need to create space in my life, I need a reset, I need a recharge. We think of these like 60, 90-minute sessions, appointments, or strategies, right? So these tools don't take 90 minutes. They don't even take 60 minutes. A lot of them don't even take 30. You guys, these tools take like 2 minutes, 90 seconds, 60 seconds, sometimes even less. What I want you to really hear and start to understand is that our nervous system, which again, I explained, the nervous system is the issue here, not time, not discipline, not that we have the wrong routine. The nervous system is what we're going to address. And what's really cool is the nervous system learns and changes through short, frequent, consistent bursts. Translation, it's not even that if you don't have 60 minutes, that's like not even a problem anymore. It's actually better to use these 2-minute, 5-minute tools as far as your nervous system goes. Let me give you an analogy. Our nervous system is not an on-off light switch, right? We can't go from overstuffed, overfull, overstimulated on instantly to off. Our nervous system is a dimmer switch. And so what that means is that these short, little bursts of micro moments of regulation move the needle more than trying to go instantly from on to off. What that looks like when we instantly try to go from on to off is creating a moment of space for ourselves, but getting in that moment, right? So maybe you get to the end of the day and finally no one needs you, and you're like, I can finally catch my breath. And what do we do if we're used to running in this on-off inefficient way? We have a lot of energy and we don't know where to put it, so we scroll on our phone or we catch up on that other email, right? It's like we're trying to downshift and we can't access it, so we stay ramped up. When we're looking at this like a nervous system switch, like a dimmer switch, what we're actually starting to do is we're seeding and feeding the nervous system throughout the day to know how to go in and out of regulation. Remember, the nervous system learns through frequency and consistency. So as we do this, what I like to call this is your regulation reps. You are doing reps and flexes throughout the day that take 2 minutes. And when you strengthen this muscle, when you strengthen your nervous system's ability to go from high ramped into regulation, it becomes way more accessible. So what does that look like? It looks like you get to the end of a long day. Most likely you're not ramped up the way that you used to be, but if you are, you have an easier time downshifting on your own, or you've got instant access to the tools that help do it for you. I want you to understand consistency is what turns that dimmer switch dial down. Duration doesn't. Again, short bursts, not one 60-minute long routine. Last thing I want to say on that before moving on is how many of us have felt like either the day or the week is just full and insane, and we make that future promise to ourselves. I just need to get to the end of the day, then I'll relax. So I'm just going to push through and get it done because then I'll have that carrot at the end. Then I'll have that moment on my couch. Then I'll have that opportunity to exhale. Or maybe we say it for the week, right? This week is insane, but like come Friday night, I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to like do whatever I want. I'll feel calm then. And then we get there and we can't access it. So my goal in this and a lot of things I share is to break that down, to switch that paradigm from promising ourselves a future long regulation opportunity and knowing that the most powerful ways to do this actually fit in the 2 to 5 minutes and to incorporate them throughout your day. We don't need to wait anymore to feel better. Okay, I want to talk about a few of the reasons why this is even more important for women. All right, for women, we've got estrogen, right? And estrogen is a beautiful hormone and it makes us who we are, and also it sets us up for being more prone to having all these tabs open and carrying what a lot of people call the invisible mental load. As women, we are very tuned into, thanks to estrogen, emotional processing, rational awareness, nonverbal cues. We're constantly like reading the room, and a lot of us as women, it's almost like it's not what is said, it is what is not said in a room that we perceive and feel. So what I mean by that is like we're constantly scanning our environment and we're taking in a lot of data in addition to just the data that exists, right? So we walk in a room, maybe a messy, cluttered room, like we see, all right, the counter is covered, there's dishes there, my child is there, and their needs are this needs to go, right? We are just overly processing our environment, which is a really great skill. It's what has kept us alive for thousands of years, because back in village times when we lived in communities, we had to be able to scan environments and predict future threats to our children, right? And so this is a feature, not a flaw. However, back in village days, there were moments of space that we don't have access to these days, right? So like in village times, there were threats that came and went. In today's world, these aren't threats, but they're felt and experienced as if they are through our nervous system. The constant barrage of WhatsApp messages, the constant emails, the constant text reminders, the constant mom math we have to do. Again, I know it sounds silly to compare this to like keeping our children alive back in the times when we're protecting them from threats and predators, but to our nervous system, it doesn't matter. It's perceived the same. And so back in the village days, these threats came and went, and also there was a shared load within the community. So maybe one woman was focused on it one day, and then the next day, a different woman was maybe taking the horns. We don't have that in today's world. And so this is where we have to get really discerning with our boundaries and with the importance of adding in these micro moments for ourselves, because we will fry out. This isn't a natural environment for our nervous system to function in with how we are hardwired as women. Okay, the other reason this is really important for women to incorporate these micro tools of creating space and clarity is that, back to the hormonal conversation, in midlife especially, we are now having fluctuating hormones. Our estrogen levels are changing, and estrogen carries with it a buffer for stress. And so as our estrogen levels start to diminish, what happens is it's almost like it used to be a shock absorber for stress, and that shock absorber isn't working anymore. And so what that means is what used to work for regulating our stress doesn't work as well anymore, doesn't move the needle as much, doesn't work as fast, or the amount of stress that we used to be able to handle, the amount we could put on our plate is rapidly changing. I want you to know that this is a feature, not a flaw. So as we're approaching midlife, or as we're experiencing some of these changes in like, why can't I handle the load that I used to? Or why am I feeling more anxious these days? Why does it bother me more when the counters are covered or when someone is breathing heavily next to me? These are a feature, not a flaw. This is an opportunity to start to regulate differently. This is an opportunity to realize that the signals that our body, that our intuition, that our inner self used to be whispering, it's now screaming. And so this is our opportunity to lean in and listen to that. And rather than just worrying about not disappointing everyone else, we're going to start to worry a little bit more about not disappointing ourselves. And we're going to know that we have access to these tools that can actually do that with us and for us. Okay, so 3 of my favorite ways to create this space and clarity in busy women's life today that take about 5 minutes. Here we go. Number 1. Expanded gaze. All this is, you guys, is looking up and out 10 feet away from you or beyond. We live in a very narrow focused world. We're working on our devices. We are living on our devices, those WhatsApp messages, those texts, those the emails, the carpools, our work. All we got to do is look up and out beyond 10 feet or more, and we instantly shut off the inner security guard in our brain, scanning to see if we're safe, and our nervous system gets the signal that we are safe here. It pulls us out of fight or flight and into regulation, and it only takes 2 to 5 minutes. Second tool that I love for doing this is music. Okay, I see music as the greatest alchemizer. I love music because the science is proven, and it's strong, that a couple minutes of your favorite song can do as much as 30 minutes on a grounding mat. It quiets your amygdala, that inner security guard. It increases dopamine. It increases serotonin. These are our feel-good chemicals. You guys, one song does this. That's powerful. The reason I especially love this as a mama is I can literally do this when I am switching from go, go, go work mode on to the way to get my kids at school, right? So I am downshifting from my beta, go, go, go brain into alpha brainwaves, which is my heart center, gets me instantly into present time, and I can be there for my children for whatever they need when they get in the car. And any mama knows a lot of times when our kids get in the car, we get the worst of them because we are their safe space and they have been holding it together all day. And so a lot of times, I joke that as moms, we're told, enjoy every moment, it all goes so fast. And like, there are moments like that where I pick up my kids, I've had a hell of a day, and I'm just getting dumped on. And like, I don't know, those moments to me aren't really enjoyable. And so what I've switched that to in my mind, and for all of you, hopefully, is it's not about enjoying every moment, but it's about being present for the moments that matter. And that's what these tools do. And so I love music. I love my car jams. And I actually created a Spotify list so we can all jam together in our car. Some of you have commented on my Instagram reels. You can comment on here with some of your favorite songs, and you will see that on that Spotify list. This list is not just my favorite songs, it's all of us. And so if you're ever having one of those moments or days where you're feeling isolated or lonely, or like you're in this alone, put on This Village's Spotify car jam list and know that we are in this and doing this together. Okay, lastly, another simple tool is what I like to call the self-with check-in. All this is taking, this is like 30 seconds. Taking 30 seconds, checking in with yourself, asking a question. Why does this feel like so much right now? What about this doesn't feel right? Why am I so mad? What would make this better? And simply listening for the answer. It doesn't mean you have to fix it. It doesn't mean that you have to do whatever that answer is, right? Because it might be like, why is this so hard? Because I need a village, I need help, I can't do this on my own. Okay, that's clarity. And through clarity over time, we can get solutions. But in this moment, in this self-with check-in, all that we're focusing on is listening. Because listening to yourself is regulation. Listening to yourself is a nervous system downshift. And that takes like minutes, if not seconds. All right, guys, if any of this resonated with you, I put all of this together in a super simple checklist below. You can click on that link, grab this PDF, screenshot it on your phone for easy reference, print it out, whatever you want. It is there for you. As always, I read and respond to every comment, so let me know your thoughts. Drop your favorite songs for your car jams, and we will add them onto this Village's car jam playlist so that we can regulate together in the micro moments that we have access to as busy women. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.